How's it going, everybody? I'm going to be showing you my Cyberdark build that I've been playing with for a little while. Been playtesting some things the last few months, so I wanted to show you what I finally came up with. I am running a different build in Master Duel. However, if this was available in Master Duel, this is what I would play. I am running all three OG Cyberdark monsters. We are playing with the Cyberdark Dragon. Since that is one of my favorite monsters, I wanted to be able to summon it. This may not be the most competitive build, but it's definitely the build that I'm working with. So we're playing with one of each. I don't think we need more than one. The best ones obviously are going to be Cyberdark Horn and Cyberdark Edge. Heal, is super cool, but it's really not that good. Next up, I'm playing 3 core because it's pretty obvious. The main way we're getting our cyber spells to our hand. I'm also playing 3 Cyberdark Claw. This is another way to get our Cyberdark cards to our hand. Also, when we equip this to a monster, we're going to be able to pitch something from the extra deck to the graveyard. We are running some cards from the extra deck that we can use for that. I am running 2 Cyberdark Cannon. You really only need 1, however I like 2 just in case if something happens to the first one. And if you happen to draw the second one, you can just send it to the graveyard with the effect and get another Cyberdark card from your hand or the deck to your hand. Running 1 Chimera, I don't really feel like I need another one. You could make an argument here for 2. Maybe 2 Chimera, 1 Cannon makes sense, but this is the build that I've been running. Playing 1 Hers just as another level 1 that we can use when we have Cybernetic Overflow. Also, when we have Horizon, we can send this to the graveyard and get Cyber Dragon to our hand, so just another way that we can kind of, not combo off, but get maximum value off of our cards. Running 1 Attachment Cybern is another card we can send to the graveyard, just as another monster we can use to equip something to our Cyberdark cards. Also, if it's sent to the graveyard, we can target Dragon Machine Cyber Monster in a graveyard and special summon it. So if we get board wiped or something, it's just something nice to have just in case. Now for the spice, we got Slifer the Sky Dragon. I did make a Slifer deck on this channel, and it utilizes the Cyberdark cards. Because when Cannon is equipped to one of our Cyberdark cards, we can send something from the deck to the graveyard. It just works out very well with Slifer. However, in this deck, we only splash Slifer just to use his engine for some surprise factor and just some spice. Works out pretty well. That kind of rounds out all the monsters. I'm not running any hand traps or anything, however, probably Ash Blossom would be good. I did actually finally get my copies in the mail. Let's move on over to the spells. For these spells, we're running 3 Emergency. Pretty obvious here. We're also running our 3 Cyberdark Realm. Because we are running a lot of Cyberdark cards, we're going to be able to search them out as well as get extra normal summons in. Running 2 Cybernetic Horizon. I felt like 3 is a little bit too much because of the requirements used to activate the card. This is searchable, so I'm not looking to really open with it. However, if we do open with it, it's pretty good. I just think 3 is a little bit too much. Running 1 Cyberdark Inferno. When we have a Cyberdark monster that has an equipped card attached to it, it can't be destroyed by our opponent's card effects or targeted. Also, if this is destroyed by an opponent's card effects, we can add a polymerization spell or a fusion spell from our deck to our hand. I really want to play 2, but I can't really justify it. This is kind of more of like a going over the top kind of card because we need to have stuff on the field. We are still playing 2 Power Bond because I love this card and the OTK potential is awesome. Again, playing 2 because in case 1 gets negated or we draw a card, we can't activate Cyberdark Chimera's effect to banish from the graveyard, so that's why we're running 2. And I'm running 1 Super Poly, so this is kind of a little pocket pick here, kind of surprise factor. Again, if Cyberdark Inferno does get destroyed from the field, I can search out Super Poly. I was considering playing more than 1 Super Poly, but just finding cards to cut was kind of challenging, I guess. But it's definitely something I'll consider and playtest moving forward. We are running 1 Overload Fusion because it's also searchable off Cyberdark Inferno if it gets destroyed. The card's also just really good in general. I think in this deck, maybe adding 2 of these would make the most sense. However, I still opted for 1 because of the Power Bond package that we're kind of running in it. Now that I'm really thinking about this, breaking this deck down even more, I think 2 Cyberdark Chimeras makes more sense, again because of my reliance on the Power Bond. Running 1 Harpies because it's a great card, also called by kind of just things you need. Raigeki, I decided to put in 1 kind of board breaker. This could be like an Evenly Matched or like a Lightning Storm or something. I just like Raigeki, I think it's a cool card. This is still going second deck, however the one thing I dislike about this deck is the space in this deck doesn't really allow for a lot of board breakers. There's definitely things I can cut in this deck, but at the same time I do want to play with certain cards. So I think having a couple more board breakers would come in handy. I think the deck is right now at like 45 cards, so a little high. 1 Foolish Burial because we're playing a lot with the graveyard. Also Change Your Heart is my favorite magic card. Definitely don't have to play this, especially if you're in like Master Duel or something, but I just really like that card. Monster Reborn, we need it because we're playing things like Revive the Sky God as well as the Slifer package. So we kind of need Monster Reborn. It also does come in handy just in general. So this kind of rounds out the spell cards. We are playing a good amount of spells and we actually are playing a decent amount of traps. For the traps, we're running 2, the Revive Sky God. This is going to allow us to get Slifer on the field really easily. Obviously we need Cypher in the graveyard, but we can easily send that with some of our Cyberdark cards that are equipped with cannon. We can pretty consistently do that if we want to. I am running 2 infinite impermanents, just I guess as a hand trap, but it's also searchable off of Trap Trick. So speaking of Trap Trick, we'll just talk about that now. We are running 3 of them. This is going to be the main way we're going to be searching the Revive of the Sky Gods. And if we don't have Cypher in the graveyard, we can search for infinite permanents. One thing I was considering for this deck is running cards main board like Ice Dragon's Prison and Lost Wind. Just some other type of normal trap cards that we can search using Trap Trick. I'm still again playtesting and messing around with it to see the kind of cards that I want to mess with, but for now this is just what I've been running. I was also debating using the sideboard strictly to use normal traps. So again, like Lost Wind, Dimensional Barrier, Ice Dragon Prison. This way if I do draw a Trap Trick, it's just another card we can search. Again, just an idea, haven't really done too much testing yet. Run 1 Cyberdark Invasion. I would like to play more than one of these, but at the same time it's kind of like a more going over the top card. You need a Cyberdark card on the field, and you also need to have multiple cards in the graveyard that it can equip. It's definitely a really good card, don't get me wrong, and I would love to play 2 or 3. It doesn't help you get your game plan going, it just helps you kind of go over the top. And lastly, we got 1 Cybernetic Overflow. This is again why we are running Hers and Cyber Dragon, just to get some more names that we can pop with Overflow. This card is really good and definitely worth running, again because it doesn't target. Also, if it is destroyed, we can add a Cyber Spell or Trap to our hand. So pretty good. So that rounds out the traps. Next up, let's go over the extra deck. We are running 1 Cyberdark Dragon. Absolutely love this card, super nostalgic. Since we are running the 3 Cyberdark cards, we can use something like Overload Fusion to summon this. And since we're running Cyberdark Invasion, we can equip Cyber End Dragon to this card as another means of summoning Cyber Dark End Dragon. So 1 Cyber Dark Dragon. We got the Cyber End Dragon, obviously. Cyber Darkness Dragon. And the Cyber End Dragon. Definitely running 1 Eternity because we can send it to the graveyard and banish it and protect all of our fusions. Also a good card mid-game to summon when we already have machine fusions in our graveyard. Obviously running 1 Rampage Dragon because of the OTK potential, and it's just insane. 2 Mega Fleet. I still think 2 Mega Fleet's pretty good because of the cards played in the extra monster zone. 1 Chimeritic Fortress Dragon in case our opponents are running some sort of machines. Running 1 Mud Dragon as a potential super poly target. This card finally came in the mail. It's been like a month. We are running 2 Elder Entis. This is the card we're going to be sending off of Cyberdark Claw's effect if we do have it equipped. And then when this card gets sent to the graveyard, we're able to pop something on the field. And it's also not once per turn. Don't have the second copy, but we are running 2 of them. Then we got 1 Salamander the Great Almirage, 1 Seeger because of the OTK, and then we got the Dark Charmer because we were running a lot of dark cards. So that rounds out the extra deck. So I am running a different build in Master Duel, and I can show you guys that. However, I wish these cards were all in Master Duel because this is what I'd be playing. The Slifer package can easily be cut from this deck and not too much changes. I just think it's pretty spicy. I'll make a separate video on the Master Duel version of this deck, but you just take out Slifer, the 3 Trap Tricks, and the 2 Revive Sky Gods, and then maybe add another Cyberdark Invasion or another Cyberdark Inferno, and then maybe add 1 or 2 hand traps, and that puts you at well over 40 cards. Or a couple board breakers would be pretty good too, like Raigeki, even Dark Hole is fine. Dark Hole actually does work kind of well in this deck because if you do have equipped cards to your Cyberdark monsters, when those cards get sent to the graveyard, certain effects trigger, so they could come in handy. I really do enjoy these Cyberdark cards. Dark Zane was pretty awesome. I actually got to go back and rewatch the show now again. I keep forgetting. I started watching it in Japanese like 2 years ago now, and it was a pretty different experience, but I didn't get too far. Did not get to see Dark Zane just yet. But yeah, beautiful card. Super nostalgic. Anyway, thanks for watching. Definitely share some of your tech down below and what you thought of my build. Again, this isn't like super competitive or anything. It's just what I think is pretty fun. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. See you later.